If a friend drops their backpack and groans, "My bag weighs a ton," they aren't reporting a physical fact. To take those words exactly as they are spoken would suggest a human is lifting 2,000 pounds, a biological impossibility. Reading operates like this iceberg. A small portion of the meaning is clearly visible above the waterline, the literal and explicit layers. But the majority of what a writer communicates is submerged in the implicit section. To navigate any complex text, you need to master all three layers. We will analyze exactly what the words say, what facts the writer states directly, and how to identify the messages they choose not to write down. Developing this skill provides the precision needed to separate the raw vocabulary on a page from the writer's actual intent. We begin at the surface. The sentence, "The cat is sleeping on the sofa," has a strict literal meaning. This requires taking the words at their dictionary definitions, without any outside interpretation. A feline animal is resting on a piece of furniture. Explicit meaning is similarly direct. If a text reads, "Aisha scored 98%, the writer is handing you an undeniable fact. They are stating a data point clearly, so you don't have to search for it. Because both literal and explicit meanings exist right on the page, they form the necessary baseline for higher-level comprehension. In simple sentences, literal and explicit meanings can look identical. For the phrase, "The dog barked loudly," both levels lead to the same conclusion, which often causes readers to skip over the distinction. The difference lies in the logic used. A literal focus analyzes the specific words used to describe the canine's noise. An explicit focus extracts the stated fact that the noise occurred. It is a shared destination reached through two different analytical paths.
Implicit. Implicit meaning is information that is not directly stated, requiring you, the reader, to use clues to figure out the hidden meaning. This is the very bottom of our reading iceberg. It is often called reading between the lines.
Subtext appears when the stated facts do not tell the whole story. If Ahmed kept looking at the clock every minute, the explicit fact is simply his eye movement. However, the situation suggests he might be impatient, late, or anxious for a meeting to end. This is the core of implicit meaning. A writer supplies the specific evidence, and the reader must supply the logic to reach the conclusion. Shifting into this mode of reading turns you into an active observer of behavior rather than a passive receiver of data. To ensure your interpretations are accurate and defensible, we use the CCC formula. The first C involves identifying textual evidence. You isolate the specific, unchangeable details the writer chose to include on the page. The second C is context. You analyze the surroundings and the timing of the events to understand the environment. The final C is common sense. You apply real-world logic to that evidence and context to determine the most likely explanation. Consider this scenario. A teacher asks for homework, and the student suddenly became very interested in the ceiling. Which level of meaning indicates the student didn't do the work? It is implicit. The textual evidence is the student looking away. The context is a direct question about a missing assignment. Common sense tells us that avoiding eye contact in this situation usually signals a missing answer. Using this structure prevents you from making random guesses and keeps your analysis grounded in the actual text. On exams, identify hidden meaning questions by spotting trigger words. Terms like suggests, implies, infers, or indicates signal you to look below the surface. They instruct you to stop searching for explicit facts and start making logical inferences based on evidence. Here is a final capstone challenge. The chalkboard reads, "When the principal entered the classroom, the students suddenly became very quiet." Your task is to identify the literal meaning, the explicit facts, and the implicit meaning using the CCC formula. To help you remember the process, use the LEI mantra. L, look at the dictionary definition of the words. E, identify what is explained directly. I, determine what is implied indirectly through the context. Write your breakdown of the principal scenario in the comments so we can check your logic. Identifying these three layers allows you to see the hidden architecture of a sentence, helping you decode exactly how a writer builds a message without ever stating it directly.